Welcome back to Chicago. Today we've been talking about three organizations who each in their own way have a very valuable contribution they have made to life in Chicago. This segment I'm very happy to welcome Shawn Jeffers, who is Executive Director of Little City Foundation.
Bill, it's a pleasure to be here. It's truly a pleasure.
And joining Shawn is Lisa Reyes, who's Director of Communications for Little City.
Hello, it's an honor to be here.
You know, I'm so glad that we're here and we're wrapping up the show with this conversation, because tell me a little bit about who Little City serves.
Well, Bill, prior to 1959, parents with a child with disabilities have very few options. And typically individuals with disabilities ended up in some of our large state hospitals spread across the state, or were without services. A group of parents in 1959 purchased 56 acres of land for a little over $40,000 and created an environment that was designed to meet the needs of challenging children with developmental disabilities, at that time called mental retardation. And the thought was to really work on a quality of life, not just a place to live, not just a place to go to school, but blend all aspects of life into this beautiful campus setting. Now, of course, those children soon became adults, and the mission expanded not only to serve children with disabilities, but now adults. And what we're faced with now, Bill, is as we enter this 50th year, those individuals who at one time had very short lifespans are living longer. So we're now faced with the whole challenge of seniors with disabilities. So what was a very small mission focused solely on kids has expanded to be a lifetime of support. And here we are 50 years later, redefining the mission and purpose of Little City.
It is an amazing story. I mean, a lifetime of growth, a lifetime of serving those who before then were not getting the kind of opportunity to live lives that Little Cities provided. There's an opportunity to really grow and not just vegetate.
And I think what we also do, it would not happen without first and foremost families who entrust us with the care and service for the child. So it's built on the notion of trust. It also takes a strong volunteer network. I have 40 of the most spectacular board of directors who commit their time, talent, and treasure for the betterment of Little City. I'm blessed with, represented to my right, a wonderful staff, a staff that each day Bill commits himself to the finest of service. And then I've got to say a community and a donor support base that is just phenomenal. So without those ingredients, it would not have been possible to weather the challenges of the past 50 years.
You know, as Shawn said, Lisa, you were in a career in a completely different industry, but you were attracted to Little City.
To Little City because of its mission, and when you visit us in Palatine, and everyone's invited to visit us, the children and the adults that we serve just inspire you every day, because they are so trusting and they have so many talents and abilities, and just giving them a hand up instead of a hand out, just really fulfills you. And what better job is there than to promote them and the wonderful things that they do.
And Shawn, you mentioned the staff. Tell us a little bit about people like Lisa that the folks you serve get to encounter in their experience with Little City.
Well, the salt of the earth, as I'll define it, Bill, are those individuals who each day, direct care workers. Because the individuals that we serve, and what's happened over the past 50 years, is the comorbidity or complexity of the individuals who are now residing in facilities like Little City have changed dramatically. In the early years, it was more of the chromosomal type issues, Down syndrome and the like. Now we're seeing a significant growth in autism. 80% of the children that we serve have a diagnosis that includes autism. And they're on that, since it's a spectrum disorder, they're on that more complex end of the spectrum. People who work with them each day have to be the most patient, the most caring, and the most compassionate. And so that job itself creates so many demands that without those direct care workers, without those counseling and therapy staff, we couldn't do. My job is simple in comparison. All that Lisa and I have to do is really market, position, and share the story. Those workers create the story.
How would you, in a brief sentence, share that story with the folks who are watching right now?
Well, one of the things I would ask that they do, Bill, we go to our website. There's a video It's less than a 7-minute video, and it's called You and Me. And it tells a story because a child with a disability is not just a child with a disability. They're a family member, they're a neighbor, their brother, their sister. And so that disability affects not only the individual, but the entire family. And so we can only tell that story by best relating it to both the community and a family. So if they can go to that website.
And that website is
www.littlecity.org.
Very easy to remember that.
Very
one.
easy.
And very powerful and important for people. It's a great website. You get to know the organization quite well by visiting.
Definitely, definitely.
Well, thank you for being on the show. I'm going to ask you, too, to stay with me for a little bit. We're going to be back with more Chicagoan, a little tiny bit right after this. Don't go away. In a very brief way, the importance of little cities coming into being.
Well, one of the things, Bill, that is I think we really have to emphasize is that people with disabilities want the same things that you and I want. They want a quality of life, they want durable relationships, they want happiness. And what we've been able to do through Little City Foundation is break down those barriers that people put up in assuming that they knew what people with disabilities want. They don't necessarily want to be your neighbor, my neighbor. They want a community of themselves. They want to acquire the same things that we want in life. And so our job becomes just that simple, making sure that they achieve the highest and fullest quality of life.
And you've done it for 50 years.
For 50 years.
We're so happy to be able to share and honored to share that celebration with you on Chicagoan today. Shawn and Lisa, thanks so much for being with us. And thank you for being with us, folks. As I share with you each week, remember, it is an inside job. You decide to make it a great week. I'm Bill Campbell. So long.